When you think of critical thinking, you also think about philosophy, because you hear critical thinking was, to some people, they say, has always been there since the world began, since time immemorial. Even African people in the ancient times, they were doing critical thinking, but they didn't call it critical thinking. They were asking so many questions. But in modern scientific world, we talk of Socrates and the Socratic questioning as the father and mother of critical thinking. That means is a reading philosopher in the history of philosopher who brought critical thinking the way we know it today. And you know, it doesn't stop at critical thinking. A critical thinking stops at creative thinking. And even creative thinking today, creative thinkers today, they are saying, we don't stop at creative thinking. We stop at innovation. So what do you innovate? You have COVID now. Where are these innovators? Beyond telling us to boil ginger, is it ginga, and those types of onions and lemons to fight or to boost the immunity against COVID-19, we need innovation in Africa. What we are lacking in Africa is good innovators. So it is not just critical, asking question why, how, when, like any other philosopher, or getting away through by being creative. That creativity must be seen in action through the evidential innovation that has been seen, that can be seen visibly. So the word philosophy, as you can see there, comes from the ancient Greek philosophia, which literally means love of wisdom. Now, the introduction of the terms philosopher and philosophy has been ascribed to the great thinker. You hear? A great thinker. Thinking again, a man by name Pythagoras in the 6th century BCE. Pythagoras referred to himself as a philosophos, meaning a lover of wisdom. And henceforth, the term and its derivatives have been used to indicate a love of thinking about things and the possession of a thoughtful and reflective attitude towards life in general. Philosophy, thus, is a study of general and fundamental problems, such as those connected with reality, existence, knowledge, values, reason, mind, and language. Philosophy is distinguished from other ways of addressing such problems by its critical, generally systematic approach and its reliance on rational argument. So you can see a philosopher is distinguished from other people by the way he is critical or she is critical, creative, the way he is rational, has sound argument. In the diagram there, you can see philosophy as the mother of everything. It gave birth to sociology, the science of society, the study of society. So the study of Sophia, that is, lover of Sophia, is called philosopher. Sophia means wisdom in Greek. So everything began by thinking through, and you know a thinking person is a wise person. So through thinking through, it gave birth to sociology. Sociology now gave birth, as sociologization went on, to natural sciences, social sciences, arts. You can see natural sciences are chemistry, biology, physics, botany, zoology, and social sciences are referred to anthropology, demography, economics, political science, psychology, history, human geography. You can also talk of theology here. It is also here, theology. It is social science. When you come to arts, you may talk of music, literature, drama, painting. All these things were born from here. Now, when you come to divisions in philosophy, you talk about epistemology, or epistemo means knowledge, the study of knowledge or content. Okay, it's all about content. Okay, epistemology. The other one is logic, the study of principles of correct reasoning. Okay, so arguments are either deductive or inductive. Let's look at, because logic or reason are the same. Okay, deductive reasoning or deductive logic, they are the same, reason and logic. And I told you fallacy, if you can remember the previous lectures, a fallacy is an error in reasoning. If you reason poorly, you create errors, and it is a fallacy. Okay, so deductive logic or reason is when given certain statements called premises, other statements called conclusions are unavoidably implied. An argument is termed valid if its conclusion does indeed follow from its premises, whether the premises are true or not, while an argument is sound if its conclusions follows from premises that are true. Inductive reasoning makes conclusions or generalizations based on probabilistic reasoning. For example, if 90% of humans are right-handed and Joe is human, then Joe is probably right-handed. Okay? But when you come to deductive for mathematician mainly, mathematicians use deductive reasoning or certain sciences, physical sciences. You can't bring probability. You go to the laboratory, you mix chemicals, it has to bring certain results. But when you are a historian, a social scientist, you can talk of Vasco da Gama coming to Mombasa or Maridi, 1487 or 1488. 1 year does not hurt the historicity, either plus or minus. 1486, 1487, 1488, it can't hurt. We shall see it again anyway, other examples. Coming to metaphysics, I told you metaphysics as another branch of philosophy is the study of general features of reality, such as existence, time, relationship, mind. Okay? In other words, what is physics, what is physical, what is not physical, or you can't touch the table, it is metaphysical. If it is beliefs, they are metaphysical. If it is a weed, it is metaphysics, because you can't touch the weed. So metaphysics is what you can't touch, is beyond touch. Meta means beyond. So if it is beyond physics, it is beyond touch. You can't touch the wind. So in philosophy, weed beliefs are metaphysical. The other one is aesthetics. It deals with beauty, art, enjoyment, sensorial, emotional values, perception, matters of taste and sentiment. That is beauty anyway. Issues dealing with the beauty, what you refer to as beauty, and other people don't do it. It is just aesthetical. The last branch of philosophy is ethics. It is also what we call moral philosophy. It is concerned with the morality, how it's concerned about how we live. It's also about questions of whether this question can be answered or not. Now, the main branches of ethics are metaethics, normative ethics, applied ethics, all that. Now, in general, the term philosophy has various senses and uses. For instance, we have philosophy of life, which may mean a view of life, an attitude or approach to life. It can also mean an attitude or approach to life, or guide to life, or a set of particular beliefs concerning morality, politics, or life in general. In view of this, the question on what is your philosophy then seeks information on a person's individual beliefs or outlook in life. Seen from this perspective, Harabeism, Ujamaism, existentialism, Nyayoism, kusema na kutenda, or doing and acting, slogan, are philosophies too. Basically, they are beliefs or ideologies about politics, morals, or life in general. The problem with these ideologies is that they risk the danger of having their central ideas, like the dictatorship of the proletariat in Marxism, or peace, love, and unity in Maoism, or Jubilee's tyranny of numbers, degenerate into slogans, catchwords, or catchphrases, or even clarion calls, meant to mobilize the masses of people emotionally and blindly towards some preconceived goals. Again, the danger of these slogans or philosophies is that their expressions are never analyzed or evaluated or examined or assessed critically, so as to assess their import in morality, their import in politics, their import in society generally. That makes them not philosophies enough, because a philosophy has to follow, to be analyzed, critically thought out, creatively executed. A philosophy has to be thought through. You cannot kill reason in philosophy. If you just tell me chungwa moja maisha bora, hiyo imeisha, or that is over. One orange, good life. You have to tell me, how good is that good? What do you mean by good? Because you are good, it may not be my good. Good is relative, just as truth is relative. I need to interrogate that in order to be a good critical thinker. In view of this, philosophy proper, or classical philosophy, has the function of critically examining such phrases and concepts impartially and reasonably to clarify their meaning and use in daily human endeavors or in the vicissitudes of life in our daily discourses. We must learn to reasonably push for clarity so that we get it the right way and get the right answers. Now, this explains the need for the study of creative and critical thinking. Now, the last section I want to do, because I'll get back next week to history of critical thinking, but I want to end by talking about, posing the three questions that are there and attempt to answer one of them. Question 1, describe critical thinking and discuss its role in a person's life. What does critical thinking do to your own life? Since we started this, have you benefited from what we are doing, or we are wasting time? Hope we are not wasting time. Because critical thinking makes you strong, makes you not get conned by the simple con men out there. There is also con politicians and con preachers. They tell you good things that are not real and they look real. And you know, in philosophy, there is what we call obscurantism. A phenomenon where what is true is made true, not true. And what is not true is made true, true. What is real is made true and real. And what is real is made true, not real, the other way around. That is obscurantism. From the English word obscure. It is obscured, it is blurred, it is befogged. There is fog to make it not clear for you to see. And this is what some, wayward preachers and politicians, wayward people do to society. They are dangerous because they confuse you. Question 2, what would you consider a fair relationship between social authority and individual autonomy in social life? Okay, we'll get to all these things when you consider people like those philosophers I told you last week, people like the British philosopher who talked about appearance and reality. What appears is not necessarily real. You remember that man? And others like Descartes who talked about, cogito ergo sum, and others. Now, the last question that I will talk about and try to answer is question 3. Criticize the role of slogans in commercial advertising and politics. Can slogans contribute positively to human well-being? over the advertisement. You know, kama mimi, in my case, I now buy in the supermarket the moral milk because of the advert. That confused me. So even critical thinkers like me, if you are not careful, you are confused by this advertisement. They are not good, because when they say, sema ng'ombe, sema maziwa, sema ng'ombe, you know, even there were children telling us, ng'ombe. The way they are putting it, they make you buy that milk and think Tuzo milk is not pure milk, there is some concoction or something. It is not true. All are good packets of milk. But the advertiser gives, you know, sways you towards his things, and sometimes he can mislead you if you are not critical thinker enough. Like I became a poor critical thinker that time when I found myself being swayed. Yes. So the question is, what is the problem with these slogans and commercial advertising in politics and even in business? Can they build Kenya? Can they build Africa? It is yes and no. So let me lead the answer here. What advertisements do? First, their basic function is to inform and to motivate. A good advertisement or good ad is truthful, informative, and persuasive. If it is humorous, thought-provoking, or entertaining, that's all the better. Unfortunately, some advertisements seek to motivate without providing any information at all. Slogans such as Pepsi, it is the cola, usiseme ng'ombe, sema maziwa, are examples of ads or advertisements that seek to sell on the basis of brand recognition. No informative claims are made. Only snappy phrases or catching jingles are used in the advert. Some adverts are just but a mockery of the function of informing by making false or misleading claims. To an extent, advertisements reflect people's attitudes and values of its culture. It contributes to their creation. It mirrors societal values. In a cunning way or subtly, advertisements in American context and to an extent in Kenya suggest that consumers should pursue wealth, status, popularity, and prestige. That's how we see in the CNN. Sometimes they ignore to emphasize on the values of being your own person and thinking for yourself. Somebody wants to think for you. Other times, the advertisers fail to be good stewards of the environment. Other weaknesses include too much focusing on quality of life rather than on mere material affluence. Again, advertisers target certain groups, and given this selectivity, advertisers inevitably present a somewhat distorted view of society's real features, values, and needs. In view of this, criticism against advertising is all too common. First, advertising is instructive. It interferes with almost everything that we do. That is, reading, driving, watching television, lying on the beach, reading diaries, etc. They invade our privacy. Second, an advertisement demeans and corrupts our respective cultures, making us materialistic, preoccupies us with the ideologies of possessing more and more and more. Indeed, encouraging consumers to measure their worth solely by what they have, rather than by who they are, weakens their social, cultural bonds. Advertisements harm the environment, contribute to a shallow materialistic culture. Thirdly, advertisements or ads exploits children by targeting dubious messages. For example, Sugary cereals are good. Now, other things can be parents and teachers are clueless. Wazazi na walimu hakuna kitu wanajua. Hii biashara yangu ndio, my friend. Parents and teachers are clueless and you are telling the child. Such things are dubious messages misleading children at an audience that can easily be deceived. Fourthly, advertisements reinforce harmful, sexist, and other dangerous stereotypes that are inimical to the progress of the 21st century. For example, only women do the laundry, only boys play with the car toys, girl children only plays with child toys, etc. These are lies, a pack of lies. Fifth, advertisements are manipulative and deceptive. It deceives us with sophisticated ploys and strategies that make us believe them. Now, Mark Sutherland, the author of Advertising and the Mind of the Consumer, helps us understand why it is so difficult for us to realize how powerful and influential advertisements are. He says that it is because we ask the wrong questions, make the wrong assumptions, and look for major effects rather than minor ones. Whenever we read advertisement think for us, we shall always fall prey. For most of the things we buy, such as toothpaste, shampoo, or soft drinks, involve what Sutherland calls low involvement buying. Indeed, these are purchases where we do not engage our critical thinking. Now, in conclusion and in defending advertising, however, anyway, we also need to appreciate that it equally has benefits in terms of employment, assisting those who do not want to think. If you don't want to think, listen to advertisements. They will think for you. They also give media the financial backing that it requires. Without these adverts, some of these television stations and radio stations would close shop. They also allow free non-government regulated programming and thereby promoting freedom of expression, democracy in other words. So when they allow free non-government regulated programming and thereby promote freedom of expression, that is the way the society grows, when people can think independently, freely, because that is how it gives birth to innovation, growth, and transformation. Adverts also stimulates competition, which is good for economy, thereby raising the standards of living for everyone by making possible what economists call the economy of large-scale production. By encouraging mass production, advertisements helps in reducing the cost of manufacturing, thus making the product less expensive. Certainly, advertising is required if we are to reap the benefits of large-scale production. Thank you very much.